Hey there, new Falcon families. This video is intended to help you access your child's course request confirmations and to give you a little bit of a walkthrough of how you'll use Magnus, our secure record system, where you're going to provide us with things like a recent physical, and you'll use it all the time while your child's at council, things like permission slips, etc. But there are a whole bunch of requirements we need you to take care of at the beginning of their time at council. All right, so here we go. First thing you're going to do, you come to the school webpage. You're going to click up here where it says parents, okay? Open that up, okay? And on there is where you log in. You'll put in your username and password. The username and password, your username and password is your first and last name, and then whatever password. Just remember, it's not the same one as you originally set up with admissions. When you first do an application, you make up your own username and password. When your child was accepted, you were given an assigned username and password. It's first and last name generally. That's the one you need to use here. You log in. It will bring you to this page that will pass you through to My Backpack. Gonna click here. Okay, and now you're in My Backpack. Yours may look a little bit different from this test parent one that I have, because you may not have access to the things current students have access to, like report cards and grades and things. You don't do those things yet. But you will definitely have this down here where it says My Documents. Okay, right there. You're going to click that. And in here, again, it's going to look a little different. My children, I have 4 of them, 4 pretend Falcon children, and many documents. But I would just want to draw your attention to 2 things here. At the top are the ones personalized to your children or child, all right, individual documents to them. And then down here is sort of an assortment of important documents, calendars, things for reference, basically. A lot of these are for this year at this point. I'm not sure there's much to see here yet, but going forward, you'll need these things, and we'll draw your attention to them later in the summer. This is kind of where you can find a lot of more generic information. But the specific one to your child, the one that will show you where their course placements are, right? Their course, we call them course requests, is right here. It says 2021-2022 final course request report. You're going to open that, and it looks like this. And what it shows you is these are the courses your child will be scheduled for. So it reflects any placement tests they took. It should reflect any electives you chose when you submitted your course request form to us. It does have a little caveat here at the bottom that it's not necessarily what they're going to end up in, only because we might have the case where they've chosen 2 things that are pretty uncommon and now they conflict with each other, or a class is full, or we don't run a class for some reason. Just there are possibilities where it might not work out for their schedule, but otherwise this is what they'll take. This is what they've been approved to take. We need you to confirm these placements by next Wednesday, the 26th of May, and you're going to do that in Magnus. So that's one of the first things you're going to do in Magnus. So presuming this is all correct, we haven't missed anything, everything is good, you're going to come back over here to My Backpack. You're going to go back to the home screen. You can do that a couple ways. You can press the little house here. That'll take you back to your Magnus home screen. All right, if you press, I don't know why that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Might be because I'm on my iPad. There we go. Right, that takes me back here. Okay, and here, right up here, is where there's a link to the Magnus Health Portal. So you open that, it gives you this little pop-up, press Magnus, takes you over here. Your username and password in Magnus are the same. You do have to type it in again. That is because Magnus is HIPAA compliant software, and it's not possible to have the usernames and passwords literally crossover. But you do use the same username and password. If you change your username and password one place, it will change in the other place. Okay, so you're going to log in here. Spinning. All right, when you first get into Magnus, they have a pretty good tutorial video too that will help you understand how to use Magnus and how to upload requirements, etc. But I'm going to walk you through a lot of that again. You can also say don't show this window again so you don't get that over and over. All right, so I'm going to look at Jenny Falcon down here. She's the one that's a member of the class of 2025. Okay, and I'm going to go to my complete now list. And this list, it looks really, really long. Try not to be too intimidated by the list. A lot of these things are things where it's going to be a simple yes or no question. It's not going to be super, super involved. Some will take more time than others, but plenty of them are pretty quick things. Okay, so one of the first ones is the course request approval guidelines. I already tested this, so it looks a little different for you, but you just say fill it out. I'm going to say edit. Had to clear my answer. All right, so now we're back to where it should be. So fill it out. I'm going to press fill it out. I'm going to say here, by signing this form, I agree my child's course selections for 2020, 21, 22 are correct, that I can't make any changes, etc. And then I'm going to sign here. I'm going to type in Jane Falcon and press sign. And then I'm all set. It will say complete, and I can go on to the next thing. That's what we need you to do for next Wednesday. But then there are a variety of other requirements. I'm going to draw your attention to a couple that are a little bit confusing and give you a couple of examples of how you can do this. All right, so if your child wants to come to campus in person for any reason this summer before school starts, we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need you to sign the summer liability waiver. That is right here. Okay, that's what this is. You're going to have to do this one. And we're going to need you to complete your child's vital health record. This is so we know any critical information about them. This is like the form you fill out at the doctor's office. This is going to say, does your kid have allergies? Does your kid have this? Things like that. Who to contact in an emergency, or emergency contacts are going to go in here. Various things of that nature. If your child plans on participating in anything with athletics this summer, we're going to need a physical for your child. And this is a pretty confusing requirement, so I want to walk you through this. You're actually going to see that the physical is listed here twice. It's listed up here. This is the 2020-2021 physical. That's this current school year we're in. Then down here is the 2021-2022 physical. That's for next school year. Why do we have two? We have a requirement that for each successive school year, the physical cannot be dated prior to June 1. So for your child to attend 9th grade in the fall, we're going to need a physical that's dated after June 1. That is because of our athletic league. The athletic league actually requires that. So it's not just, a nitpicky rule on our part. It's a requirement of the athletic league. But because there are students who already want to get involved in summer activities, they want to get involved in workouts, etc., and not everyone's going to be able to get a physical right on June 1st, we can let you post your child's 8th grade physical, for example, to the current school year physical requirement. Use that for the summer, and then schedule your appointment. Go get the physical that you will use for school next year. Now, let's say that you do get the physical right on June 1st. And so you have the updated physical. Great. But your kid wants to come in the summer. Still want you to put that one here. You can put the same physical in both places if it's an updated physical. For the summer, your child's going to need a 2020-2021 physical. Anything that happens between June or July, they need to have a physical there. Anything that happens after August 1st, they have to have a physical here. All right, so that covers the physical requirement. The only other thing I'll show you is how these things work. So some of these things are just one-off questions. So you're going to go in here and say something like, does the student have asthma? And you say no. Confirm. That requirement just goes away. If you said yes, there's a form you'd fill out, but that's a pretty simple one. Now, let's do something that's going to be a little more complicated, like the physical. All right, so you're going to get the physical form. This one you actually need our form. That's important too. You're going to have to use our form. So you're going to have to download the form first. So let's use the physical. Let's say, turn it in. I'm going to press that, and it's going to say, have you already obtained and completed the form? And you haven't, so you're going to say, no, download my form. And you're going to download the form. It looks like this. All right, but let's say that you had already obtained the form. Then you're going to say, yes, submit. Would you like to upload the completed form? And if you say yes, you just upload it. What if you want to fax it in? So you could say no fax. And then you're going to get what you do to fax it to Magnus, if you'd like to fax it to Magnus, is you have to download a cover sheet. So you'll download this cover sheet, and what it does is it makes it so that when this goes, right, it says Jenny Falcon on here and it has this barcode on it. When you put it through the fax machine, it gets to Magnus, it automatically goes in the system. You give it an hour or two and it'll automatically populate that form to that requirement for your child. But here is the one thing that is a little bit tricky. Every single form you send to Magnus has to have the appropriate cover sheet. So the physical has to be with the physical cover sheet. The immunizations have to be with the immunization cover sheet. All of those cover sheets are a little bit different. So don't just print this cover sheet out and then just keep using it, because the requirement will go in the wrong place. Okay, the easier way to do this is to upload it, but the faxing is an option. So as you're going through this big list of requirements this summer, and as you know, as quickly as you can, you're going to be uploading things, you're going to be answering questions, and you can kind of do this at your own pace. Some of them obviously are required for the kids to be at school over the summer, and we'll be adding things. You know, your child goes on a field trip, we'll add that. Over time, things get added. But this kind of gives you a little walkthrough of what you need to do to get your child organized for attending school in the fall. Hopefully this video was helpful. Thanks.